All right, so here's some real talk. We have a lot of work to do. We have to get started right now getting ourselves together if, as a species, we want to survive. So many people around the world privilege this concept of being hard, of hardness, and there's different images of masculinity and certain kinds of the definition of a hard woman and all these different concepts that come back to this idea of being hard, being resilient, being able to overcome challenges, somebody who has cultivated their character and has overcome the odds. And these days, we have a lot of people talking about soft, that as a species, we've gone soft, and the young people today are so soft, and everything is so much different. We're back in the day, back in the 50s or the 60s or the 80s or the 90s, we were so hard. And there's a little ring of truth, perhaps, to some of that. But for me, hardness begins and ends with the practice of the Mucusless Diet Healing System and being mucus-free. See, what has actually been happening is, if you look at the kind of hardness, where people these days are looking, I want to go back in time, and things were so much better in the 50s or the 60s or the 80s or the 90s. We were so hard back then. We had Rambo, and we had this and this masculinity, and there's all these discussions happening. But what's being left out of those discussions is what is at the foundation of that type of so-called hardness is stimulation by way of poisons that disease and destroy the body. So if you have to eat dead animal flesh and you think that that's hardness, eat dead animal flesh and then you go out into the world and do whatever, be your bodybuilder and have your perfect physiques and all this kind of stuff, you think that's hard, then I invite you to do a long-term fast. Now, I don't promote long-term fasting, but I'm talking to these people that think they're hard. Do a really long fast. See if you can keep up. And they'll say, well, that's the problem. You need your protein. You need this. Why would you need something that is going to kill you? Why would you need something that, if you science people, look at all the data and the statistics and all the stuff that say that all of this type of dead animal flesh may cause strokes, may cause heart disease. Heart disease is the #1 cause of premature death on the planet. So that would not be the solution. If you, to be hard, you gotta just go eat some red meat. I've had people, as I was practicing the Mucusless diet over the years, people used to say that. They'd be like, you just need to, vegans just gotta go get some red meat and, get some hair on your balls and go out there and get her done. Stimulation. What if, like Professor Arnold Ehret, you could have a fruit meal and then walk for 56 hours straight?
What did he say?
What if you could eat fruits and vegetables and do an 800-mile bike ride? What if you could while fasting, do hardcore farm work? These are all things that Professor Arnold Ehret did. So, concept of hard, what are we talking about? He didn't need all these things that people say that we need to, get your creatine, get your nootropic and all this, your vitamins and your stem cells and all this, and have your nice, fresh, dead animal in your refrigerator that was lovingly hacked to death by, whatever. It's absolute insanity that we're living in. There's no future in that paradox. The paradox of we need to eat certain foods to get stronger, to lose weight, to thrive, yet these same foods may be the cause of future colon cancer, of strokes, of heart attacks, of Alzheimer's, of any number of ailments that are based on what? All disease, no matter what name it is known by medical science, is constipation, a clogging up of the entire pipe system of the human body. That's the first line in the Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret. Being hard is not about who can run the furthest, who can lift the most, who can get the biggest. It's about getting your body in alignment with nature and then go do amazing things. Then push the body to see what we're capable of. But first we got to get fruits and green leafy vegetables, learning how to fast properly and rationally when it's needed, learning how to clean the parasites and the mucoid plaque and all the slime out of the colon. Do that first. And then, what are we capable of? What can we do? Then we can see who's the hardest people on the planet. Like they say, and the meek will inherit the earth. Well, certainly wasn't the Neanderthals. They didn't inherit nothing. But there's a whole group of humans today that lust after being Neanderthals. This idea of the Neanderthalic life, which is just based on suffering, sadness, and Mother Nature, as she does, extinguished that which is not worthy. Neanderthals were not worthy. All these other human, so-called human primates and cousins and various humanoid species were not worthy. We are on the path to being not worthy. But we have a chance. We have a choice. And if you want to be hard, you want to actually live up to the potential of what this path has to offer, take some time. If you need to lay down, you got to lay down. If you need to sit down, you need to sit down. You have to transform your physiology. Then, once you've walked the 56 hours straight after a fruit meal, like Professor Arnold Ehret, once you've done the 800-mile bike ride on the mucusless diet, I know that people have done more than that. I know people have probably done 2,000, 3,000. You know, there's all the stuff that's out there from the ultra marathoners and all that kind of stuff. I know that that's there. But none of those folks are eating fruits and green leafy vegetables. None of those people are in alignment with natural diet, and they would say that it can't be done. They would be the ones, people, and we look to them as, oh, that's so amazing. You ran 300 miles without stopping. But what'd you eat along the way? Well, I had nachos, and I had there's the young lady that people know I'm talking about if you're into that stuff. What'd you eat? Oh, I had these gels and all this kind of stuff. We got to go back to the basics, and the basics is not a dead bear or a deer that you put on your back and you walked it back to camp and you cooked it up. That's not. There's no longevity in that. What people don't like is they're gonna have to go through a period of weakness first. You're gonna have to go through a period where you don't feel that good while you're paying reparations for having broke all the laws of Mother Nature. That's what people don't want. That's what people are terrified of. Many people that I work with, a lot of people that find themselves to this path, they're forced over here because nothing else worked. And this Mucusless Diet Healing System becomes the last chance to try and get themselves together physiologically. But when we can find people that are not on their deathbed, that are not chronically ill, that apply the principles of the Mucusless Diet Healing System, you could run circles around these people, the ultra marathons and these you just have no clue. But you gotta go through a period of weakness. You gotta go through that initial struggle, the purge, removal of the obstruction, removal of the calcification. Then we can talk about the physical fitness, which is some things, we're gonna talk a lot more about that on this channel moving forward. But before you get to that, you gotta get the diet on point. You gotta get it on the right track. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not gonna be perfect. You gotta transition. But that is the golden key. So if you want to be hard, you want to, there's something to be said. There is a mindset This is very necessary. There's a certain kind of attitude that you need to have if you want to be successful on this path. There's no doubt about that. But we got to redefine what it means to be hard. Because going and having whole blood all over you because you've killed a ram or you've killed a buffalo with a knife or your bare hands or whatever, that's not hard. That's just stupid. That's just old, like the Neanderthals. That's on your way to extinction level stupid. But if you want to be hard, you actually want to be hard, then you're going to become obsessed with physiological liberation. What can you do today? What can I do today to get myself closer to physiological liberation? That's what you're going to ask yourself. So I thank you so much for tuning in. And if you'd like to work with us, you'd like to join a community of people who are all about physiological liberation and moving closer and closer to that goal, to transform ourselves and transform humanity in the only direction that makes sense. Everybody's tried everything else. They've tried the meat, the raw meat people. You got the raw meat, you got the keto, you got your all this stuff. Oh, let's count the macros, count your calories, do this and that. And oh, well, if you got diabetes, do this. And if you got that, they've tried all that stuff. Have they tried transition diet? That's a game changer. So if you want to join us, if you want some support, you want some help on this path, go down below, click the link, join Professor Spira's Mucus-free Life membership. We'd be happy to have you. Super excited to get together. We have Q&A sessions. There's a bunch of unreleased content, things that I can't post up here on YouTube. You get access to all this stuff, a library of some wonderful content, life-changing content. We got a rapid start module that's brand new that it gets you going immediately. Just right today, as soon as you join, it's like join, boom. We tell you exactly what to do immediately, so you don't have to spend hours reading something. We want you to get into that. You will get to that. We will take you by the hand and take you through it. But you can get started immediately transforming your physiology, transforming your body, mind, and spirit. There is a big mindset piece to this. And we're going to be talking more about that in the future too. What does it mean to have a mucus-free mindset? What does it mean to have a hard mucus-free mindset, a hardcore mucus-free mindset that is necessary to emancipate oneself from the planet of the stomachs that we have found ourselves in, this reality? We have to go back to nature, back to the diet that was designed. And that's the first step of going back to nature. It's not getting rid of cars and getting rid of planes and all that, that kind of, it's like, well, that's unnatural. Getting rid of technology, get rid of the pus and the mucus forming foods out of your diet. If you want to be natural, the first step. Do that and see what happens to your body. See the kind of transformation that can happen in a relatively short period of time. So again, if you'd like to work with me directly, my team, go down below, click the link, join us in our membership, and we are going to transform our lives, get ourselves together, and then do what we need to do to protect ourselves, because things are getting crazy out here. They've been crazy, but it's gonna get a little worse. It's gonna keep getting worse, unfortunately. I don't like being right about these things. You can go back, I predicted all the COVID stuff and the riots and all this kind of stuff, so I have a way of seeing what's coming. And I'm saying, you do not want to wait. You do not want to wait to start working to get yourself together physiologically. This is your opportunity. This is the time to go through this process, go through this transformation, get in alignment with Mother Nature, get on the path. Mucusless Diet Healing System. Thank you so much, everybody. Peace, love, and breath. And until next time, right here, there's another video that was made specifically for you that I think you're gonna love. So click right here and I will see you over there. Peace, love, and breath. Be free.